This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Stacy Jensen. It's Monday, November 1st.
Can't believe it's November. Well, 2 riders are seriously hurt and flown to a Las Vegas trauma center when their motorcycle collides with a car on Highway 160 right here in Pahrump. Nevada Highway Patrol is conducting an accident investigation into a 2-vehicle crash that occurred Saturday night on Highway 160 between Oxbow and Basin Avenue. The vehicle versus motorcycle crash resulted in 2 patients being airlifted to a Las Vegas trauma center in Las Vegas. 2 Mercy Air helicopters landed on the roadway. Traffic was shut down in both directions during the patient care and accident investigation. Witnesses say that the male and female on the motorcycle were traveling southbound on the highway when the sedan attempted to make a left-hand turn onto Yellowhand Avenue. The motorcycle reportedly struck the right-hand side of the vehicle, according to a witness on scene. The rider and passenger were ejected from that bike. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, Nye County Sheriff's Office auxiliary units were all dispatched to the scene.
A man is facing serious charges after authorities say he caused a deadly crash in Pahrump. Brad Francis has more.
DeCarlos Roberson is under arrest and facing 2 charges in connection with a deadly crash September 23rd. Around 11:30 that night, deputies were dispatched to a head-on crash on Dandelion Street near Idaho Street. During their initial investigation, deputies say they determined that a vehicle being driven by Roberson had crossed the center line and struck another vehicle. 54-year-old Shal-Marie Bales of Pahrump, a passenger in that vehicle, died from her injuries. The driver was critically hurt and flown to a Las Vegas trauma center. Roberson was transported to Desert View Hospital for treatment of his injuries. Deputies at the scene told investigators they believed Roberson was intoxicated due to his actions, as well as an admission he'd made saying he'd been drinking. The sheriff's office says a blood sample sent to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's lab for analysis found Roberson had a blood alcohol concentration of 0.184, more than twice the legal limit. Roberson was arrested and booked into the Nye County Detention Center on 1 count of vehicular manslaughter, a misdemeanor, and 1 felony count of DUI above the legal limit, resulting in death.
Thanks so much, Brad. Well, embezzlement, sexual misconduct, and burglary are some of the charges these defendants are facing in this edition of the Court Report, where we have updates on cases making their way through the Nye County judicial system.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Davis with your Court Report. Ignacio Cuevas was back in court to face a probation violation charge. Cuevas was arrested by Las Vegas Metro officers for being in possession of child pornography and also for failing to appear for a status check with probation officers. He's also facing other charges related to sexual misconduct as well. Cuevas pled guilty to being in possession of child pornography and admitting to violating the terms of his probation. Judge Kimberly Wonker ruled that Cuevas will be remanded to the custody of the Nevada Department of Corrections with a sentence of 24 to 60 months and be given credit for time served in the amount of 419 days. It is expected that Cuevas will be eligible for probation in about 1 more year. Corey Richards was in custody of the Nye County Sheriff's Office for a home invasion that occurred on May 6th of this year. Nye County Deputy D.A. Kirk Vitto disclosed to the court that he and his family have known and have had a personal relationship with the defendant since Richards was a young child. Richards admitted that he has a drug and alcohol dependency problem, and his defense attorney argued that he should be entered into the drug court and be admitted to a sober living facility. It is expected that an evaluation for drug court will be conducted at a later date. Richards was released from custody at the end of his courtroom appearance with the stipulations that he not be in possession or consume alcohol or marijuana, and was also instructed to start the process of going through the drug court program. And finally, Laurie Wall was back in court with her defense attorneys to finalize the terms of her plea agreement with prosecutors. Wall and her defense attorney have proposed that Wall pay back roughly $81,000 worth of restitution to the Elks Lodge of Pahrump. But the specifics of the restitution were not finalized at this hearing. A finalized version of this plea agreement is expected to be presented to the court on Wall's next court date of November 19th. And that's going to do it for today's court report. For the latest on cases working their way through Nye County courts, remember to check out our Pahrump 411 Facebook page. For KPVM, I'm Matthew Davis.
There have been confirmed 6 new deaths related to COVID-19 reported since last Monday, October 25th. Among residents of Nye County, all residents of Pahrump, there are 36 new COVID-19 positive cases in Nye County since last week. 2 in Armagosa Valley, 1 in Gabbs, 1 in Tonopah, and the remainder here in Pahrump. Nye County test positivity rate is 10.7%. It's the 7th highest here in the state. Nye County schools, there have been a reported 32 new COVID-19 cases among students and 4 among staff in Nye County schools between October 21st through the 27th. That according to the state's latest weekly state report. Pahrump COVID-19 and flu vaccine clinic is going to be held Wednesday, November 3rd from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., closed for lunch from noon to 1. At the Health Nurse Office, which is at 1981 East Calvetta Boulevard, Health and Human Services Building. They have all 3 vaccines and the booster shot is available for everyone. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought an overwhelming grief to many families, and FEMA, they say their mission is to help people before, during, and after the disasters. They are now dedicated to helping ease some of those financial stress and burden caused by the virus. Under the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, FEMA is now providing financial assistance for COVID-19 related funeral expenses incurred after January 20th of 2020. If you have lost a loved one to COVID and suffered financial hardship paying for your funeral expenses, you can call FEMA at 844-684-6333. We'll be back with more News 25 right after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Nye County Planning Director Brett Wagner gave a presentation to the Board of County Commissioners recently on the proposed changes to Nye County zoning regulations and how future solar energy projects such as those by Valley Electric Association and other utility companies could look like in the future.
At the October 19th Board of County Commissioners meeting, commissioners discussed a proposed amendment to the Nye County Code regarding the county's comprehensive land use planning and zoning regulations and how it impacts the construction of non-renewable and renewable energy generation stations. Here's a brief synopsis of this proposed amendment. One reason given for this proposed change in zoning regulations is to ensure that any new utility construction would go before the board and be subject to public comment and input from the community in the impacted areas. One common complaint, according to commissioners, is that large-scale utility plant construction will take place and not factor in the impacts this will have on the surrounding areas.
So we want it right up against a development that's, less than 100 feet away, and it's 200, 300 feet, acres of land with solar panels on it. There's a lot of things that maybe we don't really want that in our neighborhood.
Another reason for the proposed zoning change, according to the Planning Department, is this amendment will give more specific guidance to potential applicants and allow the county to have more of a say in what will or will not be built in a specific part of the county.
Of a residentially zoned property, and in our code, RH 4.5 and 9.5, solar is a permissive use. Mm-hmm. So should we not have any kind of permitting process, public, notice going out to somebody that owns a 40-acre property that happens to be zoned RH 4.5?
But ultimately, it's the impact these utility projects will have on public lands that all Nye County residents have access to and regularly utilize for recreational purposes.
And I'm sorry, but Valley Electric's the one who drove that horse down the road by building that system that large to be able to encourage solar projects to come in there. But that doesn't mean that we as citizens should be giving up our land that we use readily all the time for recreation right out the back door of people's homes when we've already given up, 98% of this county to the federal government in one way or the other. That's our public land, and this needs to stop. They need to get out of our back door. I'm willing to work with them. I won't say that I will completely fight them out the door, but they need to think about our needs, you know? And I don't know, I think this SUP and the development agreement, getting them to speak to us, because they do have to have jurisdictional approval to get that from BLM.
Chair,
So, there you go. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to adopt
Thank you, sir.
an effective date of November 8th, 2021.
After the commissioners gave their input, the proposed amendment passed unanimously 5-0. The new rules will go into effect later this month.
And Nye County Sheriff's Office Reserve Deputy Joe McGill wants to serve as the county's top law enforcement officer. McGill made his official announcement on Sunday evening outside of Fight Science Academy in Pahrump. He says his experience and training makes him the right person to be Nye County Sheriff.
I'm running for the Nye County Sheriff's Office. For the last seven and a half years, I've been working part-time as a reserve deputy here in Nye County. I've lived here since 2008. Prior to that, I was a police officer and detective with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department for 26 years. I retired in 2013 and started working here in 2014 part-time. There's not major striking changes that need to be made, but there are changes that need to be made. They need to improve some training. They need to improve the personnel retention. Too many staff members are leaving the Sheriff's Department, and we need to keep our investment in those individuals in Nye County rather than seeing them go to other law enforcement agencies. I would say look on my Facebook. Right now it's fresh, it's new. There's not a lot to it. I am going to be adding, but we're very early on in the campaign season. It's a year away. So I'm going to be putting information on my Facebook page, and if anybody has any questions, feel free, reach out, send me a message on Messenger, look me up. I will be more than happy to speak to anybody and ask them what their concerns are, answer their questions, give them my ideas. I'm always up for any help that anybody can provide. The big thing is not necessarily right now, this early, will be donations. I will be accepting donations and any physical help that people can give as far as putting out signs. The biggest thing is I want people to spread my word, spread my name, so that other people who might be interested in who I am or what I am all about, they can ask around about me, and word of mouth is a very powerful message. Just get out there and vote when the time comes. I think I'm your best man.
To learn more about McGill's campaign, just head to Facebook and search for Joe McGill for Nye County Sheriff. McGill says he hopes to also launch a website very soon.
Well, packing on the pounds can be problematic as the season shifts towards cooler temperatures. If you find yourself falling into that comfort food trap, Cleveland Clinic registered dietitian Beth Chironi says the key to tipping the scale in your favor starts with cooking at home.
You could use roasted pumpkin in oatmeal instead of having a carby kind of base to things. I personally like to use pumpkin soup a lot and make it savory. So using some curry in that, or some coriander, cumin, those types of things.
Pumpkin is low in calories, low fat, and starchier, so there's no need for heavy creams to thicken it. Substituting spaghetti squash for pasta and adding herbs or seasonings is a flavorful way to spice up your meal while providing a healthier alternative. Seasonal vegetables are plentiful this time of year and can be more nutritious than off-season produce. You can try roasting them instead of sautéing or frying, which reduces additional fat and brings out their natural sweetness.
Vegetables being lower calorie and having more fiber, more fluid, they're going to end up keeping you fuller longer. So this is a good way to bulk up the diet with more food and thinking that you're going to stay fuller longer without giving a lot of extra calories.
Using leaner cuts of meat, choosing smaller portion sizes, and tracking food intake can help you avoid unwanted weight. Most importantly, when it comes to comfort foods, be selective and choose seasonal favorites that are special to you and just indulge on those.
All right, we'll be right back with more news.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
And a familiar face in Nye County has set her sights on Carson City. Melissa Blendo announced her candidacy for state assembly during a campaign kickoff event that happened Friday here in Pahrump. Blendo says she looks forward to being able to represent the people of the 36th district.
I'm pretty excited to go take a run for Assembly 36 and represent the people of Nye County, Lincoln, and Clark in at Carson City. And I decided because I feel like that Nye County has not had the representation that we've needed. When the governor shut down our state, I looked around and really didn't hear much from our representative on what was going on fighting for us. And obviously, you know, I stepped up and fought on grassroots levels, co-founded a PAC, No Mask Nevada, fought, you know, for our individual liberties and rights, and got involved in the activist level and continue to do so. And I feel like it's time for me to step up and do that in actual politics and go represent our people at the state level. I do look forward to being leadership in Carson City, particularly in the Republican part of the Assembly. I feel like that's something that's lacking in the Republicans in the Assembly, and I want to step up there and be leading for our people. We need it. It's something that's desperately needed, and so I look forward to doing that for us. One of the biggest things I want to do is make sure that we rein in the governor's emergency powers, and the other thing is wanting to make sure that we not only advocate for cutting spending and cutting taxes, but absolutely no new taxes.
And Blendo, a Republican, will face off against incumbent Gregory Hafen in the primary election next June. To learn more about Blendo's campaign and what she wants to do, you can check out her website at melissablendo.com. You can also find her on Facebook and Twitter. Blendo is the wife of Nye County Commissioner Leo Blendo.
And in our Save a Pet segment, for today's Save a Pet, we're back inside the cat room at Desert Haven Animal Society. Here's Darby O'Donnell Westerman to introduce us to Fang.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we are joined with Fang. Fang is an adult male kitty. Beautiful little boy. All black, beautiful green eyes, extremely affectionate. He actually does a cute little trick where you go and you like pat your leg and he hops up, trying to go and get some love and attention. If you want to come and see Fang or any of his friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, you can go and give them a call, 775-751-7020.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, taking a look outside, a little bit of clouds up there in the sky.
A little breezy as well.
We're going to find out more about your weather right after this.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's a happy Monday for you. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. You made it through Halloween, and we're bright and perky all in our places with bright, shiny faces. And look and behold the weather. 60 degrees is the temperature from Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, Tonopah, all the way down to Goldfield. Look at Beatty feeling great at 69, and Amargosa up to 76 today. Not bad. Las Vegas winking across the table at the 80s at 79-degree mark. And out in Death Valley, 83 degrees feels pretty good. I bet they're finally going, oh, finally 83 degrees, yes. 72 here in the Paradise Pahrump is our current temperature. As much as 74 we saw today poolside, although we're not getting in the pool at night because it's getting really cold at night. Look at that. Sun rose this morning at 7:07 a.m. It's setting this evening bright and early at 5:47. We missed out on a bunch of daylight over the weekend. Oh my gosh, the night totally consumes the day this time of year. Yeah, low temperatures tonight, 52 degrees. Yeah, it's a little bit chilly. And that humidity at 40%, you would think rain, but no. Look, clouds, sure we got clouds. Clouds, have I got clouds for you? Look at these clouds, crazy. Temperatures ranging from 75 degrees all the way up to 80 degrees. Next 3 days, all the way down to 72 the next 4 days. Some kind of an up and down weather trend, but clouds coming and going. Winds staying pretty moderate, generally under 10 miles per hour. Temperatures tonight, 50 degrees. I think we are done with the pool for the year. It makes me sad, but oh well, it's fall. So back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
And as we say goodnight, here's some highlights from this weekend's Halloween festivities.